Locus here, and here's another review from a figure that was released under Bandai. So we do have here a Mask Rider Decade or Kamen Rider Decade from the Super Imaginative Chogokin or S.I.C line. So this figure was released way back in 2009, late 2009 I believe. For the packaging, as you can see, it's simple with a huge display window that showcases the figure itself, the alternate parts for the complete form of this figure, and some accessories it came with. I like the design of the packaging here. As you can see, there's the logo of the character, and then the DCD stands for Decade, and then we do have here a Mask Rider Decade. And then at the bottom part, as you can see, we do have the main character or the main form here and the complete form. There you go. And then at the side of the packaging, there's some information in Japanese. Unfortunately, I can't read Japanese. And then we do have here another detailing here. So very nice. Then at the back, of course, just like every regular release figures from this line, you would see some previews of the figure. So you can see here, just camera there. There you go. So here's the front and back preview with a complete form front and back preview of the figure. Some action poses, and the accessories it came with. Okay, so as you can see here at the back of the packaging itself, we do have here a detail that I think you can use it for display if you want to display this figure on your shelf. It's a good design. As you can see, here's the logo of the figure, and there's a 453145 number, and then Mask Rider Decade. Yeah, and that's just it. And then for the tray of the figure, we do have a single tray, as I said earlier. So this pretty much contain the accessories and alternate parts that came with the figure, including the alternate hands that we weren't able to see earlier. Okay, and then it comes with this one. So it contains the instruction manual and the sticker, because you would put some detailing here on the figure once you form the complete form. So we do have this one. So we do have here some pictures of the or sticker rather. We do have here some machinations, there you go. Detail, okay, and of course the manual of the figure. So come on, there you go. So pretty much this shows on how stuff are being placed accordingly, or how to form this figure into a complete form. But sometimes I would rather like to build the complete form without the instruction manual. And then for a 2000 release, expect that there are some twist wires attached to the figure, which is very annoying. It's really hard to remove if you're just gonna use your hands. It takes time, so might as well do this. So we do have here, of course, the figure itself, the Kamen Rider Decade, and then next to it is the Makai Kadogaro, the Ryuga version, and then the DC collectible Batman figure, a new 52 Batman figure from the We Can Be Heroes box set. So Kamen Rider Decade, this figure stands at least 7-inch tall, together with the Maikado, if we're not gonna count the ears of this figure. And then yeah, so that's the height comparison in case you are curious how tall this figure is. And then let's compare it again with Marvel Legends Iron Man figure, a 6-inch figure from Hasbro. And another figure from Hasbro, we do have here a Stormtrooper from the Black Series Star Wars figures. So for the articulation of the figure, let's start off with the head. So the head can tilt sideways. It has a good range of motion thanks to the ball joint on a peg here. That gives the figure a good range of motion, and yeah, the head can be removed easily. Moving it upwards, you can do it, but you can move it upwards, but there's a gap right there at the center in between of the head and the neck. It's a little bit irritating to look at, but you know, I think if you're gonna take a photo of it, you can just do it in a very good angle so it won't be noticed. So it can move upward, it cannot look downward much. It can tilt like I've shown you guys earlier, and thanks to the range of motion again on the neck, it has its own movement. I think it's it's on a ball joint. Yeah, so thanks to that it adds more good range of motion all throughout the head. And then for the shoulders, for the shoulder pads, it has a hinge right there. So the plastic being used here on the shoulders is translucent plastic, and it seems like this figure was kept for too long in the box, that since it's on a plastic, the material being used is starting to get sticky. But I'll just clean it later with a soap. Anyway, on the arms, it has a good range of motion on the arms. It can move as far as that, can go up. Okay, it has a bicep swivel. It has a double hinge elbow, but due to the detailing here on the shoulder pads, it kind of hinders it. But yeah, it moves okay. Not much. I think it doesn't hinder much. Yeah, this is how far this elbow goes. And then bicep swivel, as I mentioned, I think. And then it has a hinge right here on the wrist. If you remove that, you just need to be careful. You don't twist and pull. Most of the time it tends to break, or I had some issues before. So yeah, it's on a hinge, on a peg. Just be careful when you're trying to move it. If it doesn't move, don't force it. I think you can just do the hot water treatment, or you can just dip this part here to a hot water for 10 seconds, then you pull it right over, then try to pull gently just to soften whatever is stuck in there. And then for the entire shoulders, it has, I think, a ball joint right there that connects from the body to this shoulder. Alright, so it has a good range of motion on the arms. And then for the upper body, since it's brand new, it doesn't move much, but yeah, it does move. It has a waist articulation. Okay, and then waist articulation, come on. It's kind of stiff. Okay, and then another good feature about this figure is that the Decade driver, I believe, I forgot what this thing is called, is it has this feature like that. This is how he transforms. So he would just put this in this position, and then he would put the card right there on the slot located right there, as you can see, and then he would just close this out, because he has the ability to transform to any previous riders. So he has those cards, he just inserts it and then he just transforms. And you know, if he needs to do his finisher and all that, he does the same. He has a card for those. Anyway, okay, the legs can go as far as that. And then it has a double hinge knee. Okay, be careful. But it feels pretty solid. But you still need to be careful. I think it has a I'm not sure if the knee guard is a die cast or a plastic. Anyway, so there you go. Then it has a thigh swivel. It has an ankle rocker, as you can see. And then it has a toe articulation. It can move up and down. And then it can go down and up. So pretty decent motion on the figure. It has a nice detailing here. Let's do a close up. So the eyes is on a compound. The compound eyes is on a translucent plastic. All right, and then it has a nice sculpt. I think this is something that this line is specialized at in providing artistic details into the figure. It's just that I find the back is a little bit it's like he has a lump or he's a hatchback. There's so much going on here. Okay, so yeah, this part here is translucent plastic as well, and we can remove it. I think there's an option to remove it because this will be replaced by a part later on when we transform this one into its final form or complete form right here. So there's some mechanics going on here, so it's very nice that they put on those details in. Let me just go ahead and remove it. Come on, dude. It's really stiff. Okay, there you go. So you can see there's some nice detailing going on there. Very nice. I think we can remove it, this piece here. Just be careful. I think there are some who had some issues with, yeah, just like I said, I think there are some who had some issues with the shoulders that it tends to break, because as you can see, this part here connecting the shoulder pad from this one, there's a peg right there, this is prone to break, or either this part or both. So you really need to be careful when you're trying to swap the armors or play with the figure. Actually, this figure it's not really something that a child can play with. It's not a child-friendly action figure. So here's the mechanics of the body frame of the figure. So you can see there's a connector right here, there's a joint going on right here. I can't move much, but it moves, but I can't do much about it. And then the waist does moves, but not much. So that's pretty much it. So here are the accessories that came with the figure. Okay, let's start with the alternate hand. So we do have here a calm open splayed hands, and then we do have here a more I think for the sake of this review, let's call it when you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, alternate hands. We do have two types of weapon wielding hands, And then lastly, we do have a card holding hand. Alright. And then we do have this part here. It's made out of die cast. It's the thigh guard. It's part of the armor of the complete form. It's code. That helped me identify that it's a die cast. Okay, and then this is the inner part of the thigh guard as well. And then these are the alternate feet, and this is Kivala. It doesn't have a usage on the armor, but yeah, they added this character. So yeah, it figure it's just there. And then we do have this part here where we're gonna attach the Decade driver on the side of the belt later on when we transform this. This is part of the Rider Booker's sword mode, and this is the Rider Booker. So this is where he keeps all his cards right there. So it has a hinge, so you can open it. You can just only put in one card, unfortunately. It has two modes, so it has a gun mode. Alright, and then it has a sword form or sword mode where you're just gonna do this, put it right at the back. It would lock into place, just don't force it all the way. And then there's a slot right there, and then just attach the sword. There you go. It's pretty sharp, so be careful if you have kids at home. And then this is the K-Touch. So this is the part where we're gonna replace the current position of the Decade driver. So in the series, it looks like a PSP, the PlayStation Portable. And then this is the alternate head of the complete form. So as you can see, there's a slot right there on the forehead where you're gonna attach something that I will show you guys later on. I just noticed here, well, it has the same translucent plastic on the eyes, but the slot right here is not aligned accordingly, as you can see. It's not. Maybe it was made that way, I'm not sure. And then this is the upper body armor, so you can remove these parts. There's a slot right there where you're gonna attach the rest of the stickers that I've shown you guys earlier, including the shoulders. Okay, so be careful because the peg right here is very thin, so you don't want to break that one. The least thing you want is to have a broken toy. I think you can remove this part right here, right there, so you can put in the slots. You can remove this part. Yeah, I'll do it later. And then here, it's much better to do it before you put in the figure. You can just pull. You can just pull right here, and then you can see that you can just put in the slot right there before you put everything into place. I think it's much better that way, in my opinion, of course. And then right here, these are the something that can hold on the. This is technically the card slot that we were talking about. It's blank, so you're just gonna use the stickers to attach it here, and then okay, you're just gonna attach the sticker right there, and then you're gonna slot it right in there, one by one. And then this part here is used when you put in the sticker right there, and then, for example, remember when I shown you guys earlier, when you put in the slot on the slot right there, and you cannot remove it, you can just use this one to insert right in there to actually remove the card. As you can see, it fell off. I do hope you saw that. So yeah, so this is pretty much a card. For the sake of this review, let's call it a card remover or a ping pong. So This is the card that I was talking about earlier. It's really small. Let me just... Yeah, won't focus. So it started with fives as an experiment. If I can pull this off easily, and it turns out that I suck at putting stickers into um, action figures. So there you go. Here's the front, and then here's the back of fives. Here's his character logo. So what I did was I used this thing here, the blade of the figure, to do this, and then let me give you an example. Let's start with, I think, let's choose Kuga. I think if you have a Sacto knife, I think that would work as well in removing the sticker. I suck at stickers. I suck at stickers. There you go. So we have Kuga, and then we have slot here, a card, a blank card made out of plastic. We insert that accordingly. Okay, seems I got it right this time, I think. Sometimes it's really hard to put in stickers, huh? I think it requires skills that you need to practice over the years. Okay, so almost done, and then okay, I think I got it. It sucks, but yeah. So we got Kuga, and then like I've shown you guys earlier, before putting everything else into place, I would really go with putting the cards on the figure first before we complete the complete form. So when you remove this part right here, you just pull it up front like that, not upward, because there's an interlocking piece right there and you might break the pegs. There's a possibility that it can happen. Let's just test it if it has a very good grip. I hope so. Okay, so there you go. It's there. So it doesn't fall off. It's secured accordingly. So yeah, that was fun. um, so we do have here the complete form of Decade. I know he look bulky now. I think that's how most ultimate forms are. Um, but looking at it, the range of motion that you can still do with this figure is still the same as I have shown you guys earlier. There's still enough space for the arms and to for the arms and hands to move, the elbows and the biceps and all that. The head, when I was attaching the head, the peg won't fit much on the peg hole on the head, so I think I can just drill a little bit hole just to give enough space, because there is still some gap right there, but it's not a big deal for me. Second, make sure that everything falls into place. I didn't really go um, you know, place everything accordingly. I think I did it as loose as possible because I want to take this off after this review. I want to display the kit as a regular form, not the complete form. That's why. The only gripes that I have so far is the K-touch because it doesn't attach accordingly to this part here. It falls off easily. So if you have a blue tack or a sticky something that can hold this thing right on the slot right there, then that would be great. But overall, the figure is really a sure get for me. So overall, my take on this figure, um, if you like the Tokusatsu, if you like the whole Kamen Rider franchise, and still this is a figure that you can, consider purchasing. You can still check your hobby shops locally if they do carry those, or if they can order this one for you, or you can check online for it, eBay, or whatever. So yeah, please do check my Instagram account for other toy photography, and my blog for other reviews that I did. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I did do some reviews from the S.I.C and Mahaikado line and some other figures that I can take a good review on. So yeah, please do subscribe. Thanks for checking out my review, and see you guys later.